Hey everyone, it's an old guy gaming here, and I'm happy to tell you that I'm still alive, both in real life and in the game. That's right, I'm still vertical, I'm still breathing, and my midlife crisis was scheduled to end today. Or wait, maybe that was next week. Well, anyway, doesn't matter. Okay, so welcome to episode 2 of my 7 Days to Die Hard as Hell Insane Zombies Always Run single player series. When we left off in episode 1, we had just finished going through that cave, and we successfully snuck around the zombies in there, and we ended up getting ourselves some gun parts and some mushrooms for food and a couple other items. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to continue working our way south, and we're looking for a town that we can set up our first base in. All right, so it's getting close to nighttime, and something about night that's a little interesting when you're playing on these types of settings, specifically Zombies Always Run, is that nighttime is actually not quite as intimidating, I guess is the good word, as it is in the normal gameplay. And the reason why is because, if you don't already know, when you play this game on normal settings, the zombies walk during the day. So that's the normal settings. And, so because they walk, daytime is much safer. You can be out and about, and if a zombie does see you, it'll walk towards you. You can always get away from it. The exception to that, though, would be what are called feral zombies. Feral zombies can run all the time, but you won't see those until much later on in the game. There's a snow biome up there. But on these settings, because the zombies always run anyway, it kind of doesn't really matter a whole lot if it's day or night. And that's not entirely true. It does kind of matter a little bit because, for two reasons. One, I can't see as good as night. And two, the zombies are more aggressive at night. I have a setting on called feral, which means that the zombies can detect me more easily than they would otherwise. Supposedly they hit harder at night and are a little bit more dangerous. So nighttime is more dangerous than day, even on these settings. But my point is that because they always run, it's not quite as dire for you to be out at night on these settings as it would be for the normal game. So that's just kind of an interesting aspect, I suppose, of playing on these settings. Okay, we got a zombie over there. Again, we're going to try and avoid him if possible. Alright, so continuing to work south here. And let's see, how much wood do we have? We have 51 wood. Let's go ahead and make some more spikes with that. So we're hoping to find ourselves a town that we can set up our first base in. Now, my longer-term plan for the game is to actually build a base. So we are going to do that. One of the things that I really love about this game is the building. It's it has some of the best building, I think, of any survival game out there today. And so when we get to the point where we have, we've advanced enough, we have the right skills, the right tools, that sort of thing, we will definitely find a permanent place to build a base. Until that time comes, though, our best bet's going to be to find a town, find a building in that town that we can defend, that's easily defensible, and set up shop there to get going in the game. So that's what we're about right now. Oh, there is a lumberjack zombie, and we do not want to mess with him. He's one of the tougher zombies in the game, and he will give us a hard time. So we're gonna try and avoid him as much as possible. You may have noticed that my stomach just growled, and I've actually been pretty fortunate. The game starts you off with a can of chili, but I've also found a couple other. Here a zombie. Cans of food. So we're going to just eat all that right now. And I hear a zombie. And she's found me. Okay, it's on. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to run away from the zombie. And we're going to start putting some spikes down. And see if we can get the zombie to run into those spikes. There we go. Perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping would happen. So she hit the spikes and they actually killed her. What'll sometimes happen though is they'll hit the spikes and it'll break their leg and then they become a crawler and then they're of course easy to kill. And she even got me some bullets and some food. Well, how nice of you, putrid girl. Wow. That's a very kind thing for that zombie to do. We're going to go ahead and eat that food right now after we wipe the slime off it. And okay, so that went pretty well. I'm going to take these spikes and harvest them. Get the materials back. This accomplishes 3 things, actually. It cleans up the world, because if you put a bunch of stuff down in the world, you know, the computer has to keep track of that. The server has to keep track of that. And so, if you remove stuff that you don't need, it just makes the game perform better. A couple spikes aren't going to matter, but over time, you know, this kind of thing, especially if you're on a server with a lot of other players that are also making stuff and leaving them in the world, that could, over time, affect performance. The other reason I'm taking these apart, in addition to getting the materials, is that it's leveling my construction tool skill. Whenever you use a stone axe, you get points in construction tools. And that will come in handy later on when we start building things. So we'll take these guys out, get the materials back, remake some spikes, and then be on our way. So yeah, if you decide to play on Zombies Always Run, especially on insane settings, really your best bet early in the very early game is to use these spikes. You saw how effective it was for me to basically avoid her, take her out with the spikes. So that's really the way to do it. My bow skill is absolutely crap right now, and my bow itself is absolute crap right now. So yeah, I could have run around, kited her, and tried to shoot her with the bow, but it would have taken a lot of shots. It would have ran my stamina down, and so yeah, the spikes are just going to be a better way to handle this. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and make some more. Want to avoid Paul Bunyan over there. He's probably got, I don't know, 3 or 4 times the health that the zombie we just killed has. So we don't want to mess with him at all if we don't have to. Now we're getting into the snow biome, and the bad thing about that is that we're going to have to start being careful about temperature. The good thing about the snow biome is that you can see the ground better, and that mostly helps us because then we can get, or rather see birds' nests better, and pick up stones and all that. Get some wood from that little shrub. Let's see if the stump has anything good. No, man, I'm just not doing so good with shrubs, or I'm sorry, with stumps. So you're going to notice that as we move throughout the world, that you'll see these little lumps of different colored earth. And these are basically surface deposits of the various minerals that you can get in the game. In this case, it's coal. Now, I'm not going to take the time right now to mine all that, especially with this wimpy stone axe, but later on, we're going to start needing coal for a few different things. And one way that you can find coal is on the surface, in the snow biome. You can also find it in the plains biome as well. And then we'll find potassium on the surface. We can find oil shale, which is used to make gasoline, and a couple other things too. How's our stone looking? We got 92 stone. I don't need that. You know, we really don't need plastic right now. We'll worry about that later. And okay, yeah, let's just keep going. The gun parts that I have, I'll probably end up selling those the next time I go to the trader, but we'll see. I might keep the hunting rifle parts because I like to use the hunting rifle early on in the game. All right, what do we have here? I don't really see anything at this point. Okay, with the scary music, that means that it is now officially nighttime. And again, like I mentioned earlier, not really a huge deal to us. We're basically going to just keep doing what we've been doing, and that is to try and avoid the zombies as much as possible. Particularly those guys. All right, well, I'm not seeing anything in this next valley. And I don't know if I want to try and cross this valley to get to the next one. There's probably, in another direction, there's probably a town close by. Usually, yeah, you stay away from me. Usually there's towns. I have one thing of water left. I'm going to save that because that'll give me a small boost in stamina if I get into trouble. Even though technically I could drink it right now, and I need more water, but we'll be okay for a little while longer on that. What I was saying is, usually there's a town fairly close by where you spawn in. And I probably just chose the wrong direction when we set off because I went to the south. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to kind of work our way to the west now. And I'm gonna stay up on my feet as opposed to crouch until I spot another zombie. It's probably going to be pretty dark on the screen for you guys when I get this uploaded to YouTube. And I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to go in and raise my gamma. Now, if I was just playing this myself, let's just crank it all the way. I would not do that. I like to keep the settings on dark, keep them dark for immersion, just because it makes the game more scary and that kind of thing. But obviously, when you're making a YouTube video, your viewers have to see the video. So we're going to go ahead and turn the gamma up while it's nighttime, or at least while we're moving through the forest when it's darker. And then hopefully when it becomes daytime again, I'll remember to turn it back down, or it'll probably be too white looking, too washed out. So we're heading north, and we're looking for a town. We also probably have some more skill points to spin. So let's actually stop for a second and take a look at those. Alright, we have 5 points. I think, let's see, what do I want to do? I usually put points into weaponsmithing and toolsmithing early on. The other thing is putting them into into pummeled peat. I think I'm going to do that, and here's why. We are definitely going to get into melee with these settings. I'm not a huge melee player in 7 Days to Die. I try and focus more on ranged combat with bows and guns. But when the zombies always run, there's just no way you can avoid melee. And so we're definitely gonna put points into that and prioritize melee and the perk that goes along with it, Pummel Pete, in this playthrough because of the settings. And by the way, I didn't really tell you what Pummel Pete did in case you didn't know. It basically just increases the damage that we do and reduces the stamina that we use each time we use a blunt weapon, which basically is a club or a sledgehammer. So again, when the zombies always run, that's a very useful setting to have. We have a pathway over here. Right here, this is a path, and this will usually lead, well, no, it'll always lead to some type of a POI, some type of point of interest. Alright, I hear zombie over there. So what I think we'll do is we'll go ahead and follow this path and see where it leads. There's a crawler. Let's go ahead and kill this guy since he's an easy kill for us. We'll get a little bit of XP, but he also might drop something good. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Oh, you know what? The old guy ran out of arrows. Oh, crap. Okay, let's... I'm glad I discovered that while I was fighting this guy and not somebody running. Let's make some stone arrows. We're just going to use all the materials we have for that. Let's see if we can pop this guy. Got a little sneak damage bonus, and he still doesn't even know where we are either. Which is good, because our next shot will also be sneak damage then. Alright, where are you going, man? Can't get a clear shot here. Oh, he turned right at the last second there. Got him. Okay. Ah, he didn't drop anything. Okay, let's knife him down, get some blade skill, and then we'll be on our way. In previous alphas of the game, you used to get a pretty significant amount of XP for killing zombies, but they kind of nerfed that. You still get some XP, but you don't get as much as you used to. So, going out and killing a whole bunch of zombies is not as useful as it used to be for getting XP. And that's one of the many things that they've changed in Alpha 16. Another thing that they've changed that I really like is how you get skill points from the way it was before. So if I wanted to, in Alpha 15 or earlier, if I wanted to increase my, say, toolsmithing, what I would have to do is I would have to make tools. And the problem with that is that what you would do then is you would spam craft. So I would gather up a whole bunch of materials, and I'd just sit there, usually at night while you're waiting for daytime, and make like 100, stone axes or shovels or something like that. And the reason I say that that's a problem is just because it's not realistic gameplay, and it's not fun either. It's just sit there and you're being bored making all this stuff and wasting all those materials. So it's just, at least in my opinion, and I know in a lot of other people's opinions, just kind of a cheesy way of doing it. So the way things work now, though, is you just get XP for the stuff that you do. So pretty much everything you do, to some extent, at least I'm assuming. Alright, there's some boots. We'll take those. Oh, we already have boots. Alright. In that case, we'll scrap. Well, I don't have any room for cloth, so I'm just gonna leave those there. Nah, I'm gonna take them out. Side note: when you have a loot container like this stump, you want to empty it out, because if I would have left those boots in there, then it wouldn't respawn in 2 weeks from now. And by the way, I do have my loot spawning set to 14 days for this server. So every 2 weeks, containers will reset. But if you leave something in there, then I don't think that it resets. So that's why I pulled that out, even though I'm not actually using it. Man, I'll tell you what, stumps are just not giving me anything good this time. Oh well, that's the way it goes. So let's get back up towards our path here and see where it's going to take us. Pretty much feel like I'm surrounded on all sides by these guys. All right, I was talking about how skills work in Alpha 16. So the way it works is that you, just making sure that guy doesn't spot us here. You do stuff, right? So you're out, you know, you're building stuff, you're gathering materials, you're looting, whatever it is, and you gain XP by doing that stuff. Once you get a certain amount of XP, and once you reach a certain level, then you can use that experience to buy a skill or a perk. As a general rule of thumb, anything that you can level while you're doing it, like blade skill, for example, or a scavenging skill, you're better off to just be patient and level that up naturally by doing it, as opposed to actually buying the skill. So you want to kind of save your points for perks and for skills that you can only buy, such as the toolsmithing and the weaponsmithing skills. Alright, it looks like, I'm going to go ahead and stand up here. It looks to me like we are, get rid of that, get rid of that. I'll make ourselves a new bone shiv and get rid of this one. Don't need the seed. Looks to me like we're getting over into the Wasteland, which is not a place we want to be in the early game. That place is dangerous. Oh my goodness, look at that. That's a radiated police officer. One of the most dangerous zombies in the game. And so, case in point, right folks? The Wasteland is a dangerous place. We are not going out there at all. No siree. Another reason the Wasteland's dangerous is because there's landmines out there. It'd be kind of funny if we actually saw one of these zombies step on a landmine while we're watching. But yeah, there's landmines out there, and there's some of the nastiest zombies. There can be dogs, there can be zombie bears. So it's a really, really bad place to go in the early game. In fact, it's a bad place to go anytime, really. Okay, so we're not going that way. I think what we'll do then is we'll head east. And at this point in the game, I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do some time lapse and play some cool music. And as always, I will come back as soon as something cool happens. So I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Oh my gosh. I just about walked right into a wolf. Didn't even see it. We are very fortunate that we did not aggro that wolf. Man. Okay. We have a POI up ahead. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and loot the place. Oh, nice. That's awesome. Night vision goggles, absolutely amazing. Those are cool. Okay, and then also we got a knife, so now we can use that instead of a bone shiv. So, the reason I am so excited about those night vision goggles is that one of the ways that a zombie can detect you is light. So when you're in a dark area, like that cave we were in episode 1, or this cabin that we're going to be heading into, if you turn a flashlight on, or if you turn the headlamp on the miner's helmet on, which we'll come across one of those at some point. I don't need any of that stuff right now. And you turn that on and then shine it on a sleeper, it might wake them up. There's a pretty high probability that we'll wake them up. So now that we have night vision goggles, we can go into those places, turn the night vision on, and see without waking the zombie up. So it's going to be very useful. And I think that's what they look like. So we'll definitely use those when we go into this cabin up here. We just got to get around these zombies. Oh, there's a deer. Let's go ahead and take this deer out. Give us some more meat, some more leather. And because we now have a hunting knife, we'll be able to get more material off of it. Let's take that out. Take that out. I don't need lead right now. Lead's pretty easy to come by, so we'll get rid of that. I'm starting to get thirsty, but I'm going to just hold out a little bit longer before I drink my last jar of water. I'll harvest this deer and get some good 12 meat. That's great. get rid of the animal fat. I'm going to make bone shivs out of these bones for XP reasons, but I'm not actually going to use them. Cool. Alright. That's good. Always good to find a deer. In addition to deer, there's also rabbits, there's chickens, there's wild pigs, and bear. These are all the animals in the game that you can hunt for food. My guy is telling me that we're getting really thirsty here. That's what that little sigh was that he just made. Get a little more wood. There's another deer. Okay. So, what we're going to do is we're going to lay our bag down a little ways away from the cabin. Let's go ahead and lay it down right here. And we'll make a chest. And then we'll put everything into the chest that we don't need to take into the cabin, which is just about everything. And let's keep those. Alright, so I have actually gone a little over my 30-minute mark. I don't like to make my videos too much longer than 30 minutes just because it takes me such a long time to upload them to YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here, and then when we come back, we will go ahead and loot this cabin and then continue our journey to find a city. Thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I will see you back in episode 3.